The human explorer, Kale, had seen many strange things in his years on the frontier worlds, but nothing quite like this. He had come to the edge of the uncharted jungle on Zyran 5 to study the unusual plants and wildlife, expecting perhaps to document a few odd creatures, maybe a new species of bird or insect. But instead, he found her a humanoid being with the most remarkable features he had ever seen. She stood before him, tall and lithe, her skin a soft shade of cream with subtle stripes that shimmered in the sunlight. Her large, golden eyes seemed to reflect both curiosity and urgency. And then there were her ears, high on her head, pointed like those of a cat, twitching at every sound. A long, flexible tail flicked behind her with nervous energy. She was unlike any alien Kale had encountered before. Yet there was something almost familiar about her. An odd mixture of elegance and raw alertness, as though she belonged both to the wild and to civilization at the same time. Kale approached cautiously, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "Hello," he said. "I'm Kale. I'm a scientist from the human settlement. I mean no harm." The cat girl froze for a moment, then tilted her head. Her ears twitched again, and she let out a low, soft purr-like sound. "Human," she said in clear, accented English, though the tone was urgent. "Brace yourself. We are having fierce kittens." Kale blinked. "Excuse me?" She took a deep breath, her tail curling tightly around her legs. "Fierce kittens," she repeated. "Strong, fast, dangerous. They are coming. You must help." Kale frowned. His mind raced. He had studied alien species, including some with unusual reproductive methods, but nothing like this. And the way she said it so serious, so worried it was impossible to dismiss. "I don't understand. What do you mean by fierce kittens?" "They are not ordinary children," she said, her voice low and trembling. "They are born with strength. They will run, climb, jump. They will not listen. If they leave the nest, they could cause accidents." Her golden eyes met his. "You can help me. You must." Kale took a careful step closer, his explorer instincts kicking in. Strange worlds always brought strange problems, and he had learned that hesitation could be dangerous. "Okay," he said, "I'll help. But I need to understand. Are these offspring? Your species young?" The cat girl nodded, a flicker of relief crossing her face. "Yes. Soon. Very soon. And one is already moving," she said, her tail stiffening. "They will come whether we are ready or not." The forest around them seemed to grow still. Leaves rustled faintly, but the usual sounds of insects and birds had vanished. Kale glanced around. Zyran 5's jungle was alive with danger, predators, poisonous plants, and sudden drops in terrain. But now it seemed to hold its breath, as if aware of what was about to happen. "Show me where we should prepare," Kale said, moving past the initial shock. He had survived hostile worlds before. He could do this, if he approached carefully. "We'll make a safe place, and we'll see that nothing goes wrong." The cat girl's ears flicked once, twice, then she nodded. "Follow me," she said, and she led him deeper into the jungle. Her movements were graceful and silent, as though she was part of the undergrowth itself. Kale had to focus to keep up, leaping over tangled roots and ducking under low-hanging vines. Finally, they reached a clearing. The ground was soft with moss, and sunlight filtered down in golden beams. In the center, a shallow hollow had been dug, lined with leaves and soft fibers that Kale assumed came from some native plant. The cat girl crouched beside it, her hands brushing over the fibers, smoothing them. "This will be the nest," she said. "They will be safe here. But I do not know how to control them. One has already shown signs of energy, the others will follow." Kale knelt beside her, examining the nest. "Energy? What kind of energy?" Her ears twitched, and she glanced at him quickly. "They hum, vibrate. Small, but strong. It affects machines. Lights flicker near them. Instruments sometimes break. she shivered. If they leave the nest, they could disrupt the settlement. I cannot stop them. Kale's mind raced. A species that could interfere with technology through natural energy, this was more than he had anticipated. But fear was not part of his nature. He was a problem solver. A human who had faced wild storms, strange predators, and alien phenomena that would have terrified anyone else. We'll manage, he said firmly. Humans are good at solving problems. First, we'll stabilize the nest, then we'll prepare barriers. And finally, we'll guide the kittens safely. The cat girl's eyes widened in surprise. You think it is possible? Kale smiled faintly. It is always possible, he said. We just have to work carefully. Together, they worked quickly. Kale gathered large leaves and vines to create protective walls around the nest. He rigged simple, low-tech barriers, ropes, weighted stones, and small cages that could contain one kitten at a time if necessary. The cat girl assisted, her movements precise, her instincts guiding her hands to secure the nest's structure. Hours passed. Kale explained human strategies to the cat girl. How they could predict patterns, watch behavior, and prepare contingencies. She listened intently, her tail flicking in rhythm with his words. Occasionally, she would stop and glance around nervously, her ears rotating toward every sound. The jungle seemed unusually quiet, yet Kale knew it teemed with hidden life, watching them, waiting for the first signs of the kittens. Then it happened. A tiny vibration ran through the ground. Subtle at first, like the hum of an approaching storm. The cat girl froze, her ears upright. They are coming, she whispered. Kale crouched beside her, watching the nest. He could see small shapes moving beneath the leaves, flickers of fur and light. Then, with a sudden surge, the first kitten appeared. It was no larger than a house cat, yet it moved with astonishing speed, leaping from side to side, its tiny eyes glowing faintly with that mysterious energy. The barriers Kale had built barely contained it. The cat girl gasped and reached toward it, but Kale gently held her back. Careful, he said. Observe first. Learn their patterns. React after that. The kitten stopped, crouched low, and then, in a blur, zipped across the nest, knocking aside the leaves Kale had carefully arranged. It emitted a soft, vibrating hum, and Kale could feel the faint ripple of energy in his hands as he adjusted his instruments nearby. Fascinating, dangerous, and yet beautiful. More kittens followed. Each one exhibited similar energy pulses, darting and spinning, exploring their surroundings with a mixture of curiosity and instinctive caution. The cat girl's eyes glistened as she watched. They are perfect, she whispered, fierce, but alive. They will survive. Yes? Kale nodded, eyes on the kittens. They will. If we guide them, humans and aliens together. That is the way. The afternoon passed into evening. Kale and the cat girl worked tirelessly, observing, learning, and adjusting. Each kitten's movement, each pulse of energy, became a data point for their plan. They set small trails for the kittens to follow, using soft lights and textures, guiding them safely within the nest. It was meticulous work, requiring patience, instinct, and constant vigilance. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, Kale allowed himself a small smile. The kittens, though still restless, were now contained within the nest's boundaries. Their energy hummed quietly, almost like a heartbeat that could be felt through the ground. The cat girl breathed a sigh of relief, her tail curling around her legs. You have done well, human, she said softly. Kale shrugged, tired but satisfied. We all have instincts, he said. Yours guided you here. Mine guided me. Together, we found a way. As night fell, the jungle resumed its usual sounds, though now tinged with the soft purring of the kittens and the gentle hum of their energy. Kale gazed at the stars above, thinking of the countless worlds humanity had touched, the strange creatures they had encountered, and the challenges that lay ahead. He had no doubt that the kittens would present more tests in the coming days, tests of patience, courage, and ingenuity. But for now, he allowed himself to rest, knowing that humans had once again risen to the occasion, bridging gaps between species, taming chaos not through force, but through understanding. And somewhere nearby, the cat girl curled around her nest, watching over her fierce kittens, silently grateful for the human who had stepped into a world that was not his own, and had made it safer, brighter, and full of hope. The first light of dawn crept through the dense canopy of the Zyran 5 jungle. Birds of strange colors called to each other, and mist hung low over the undergrowth. Kale rubbed his eyes and stretched, trying to shake off the weariness from the previous day. The kittens were safe for now, but their energy pulsed faintly even from the nest, a constant reminder that chaos could erupt at any moment. The cat girl, whose name he had learned was Leora, was already awake, her golden eyes scanning the surroundings. Her tail flicked with nervous energy as she crouched beside the nest, watching her small charges. "They are restless," she said softly. "I think one will try to leave again." Kale nodded, sipping water from his canteen. He had prepared simple traps and barriers the day before, but he knew they might not be enough. "Then we'll adapt," he said. "Humans are good at adapting." Leora tilted her head. "You speak of humans as if they are all like you," she said. "I wonder if you know how strange it is for my species to trust outsiders. Yet, I feel calm with you here." Kale smiled faintly. "Trust comes with effort," he said. "We've worked together before." The kittens sense it too. Just then, one of the kittens, a small, striped creature with glimmering eyes, darted toward the edge of the nest. Its tiny hum of energy rippled across the ground, causing Kale's instruments to flicker. He reacted instinctively, extending a soft barrier of vines just in time to redirect the kitten back toward the center. Leora exhaled in relief. "Yes, that will do. But one will slip through eventually. We must find a way to guide them without hurting them." Kale crouched beside her, observing the kittens. Each movement was sudden, precise, almost calculating. "They're clever," he murmured. "Not just fast. They learn quickly, respond to patterns." "Exactly," Leora agreed. "If they are uncontrolled, they could disrupt the entire settlement. Lights, machinery, even the defensive systems they hum when near the kitten's energy. If we are not careful, humans could think we are attacking them." Kale's brow furrowed. "Then we'll have to teach them boundaries. Slowly, using patterns they can follow." And so their work for the day began. Kale and Leora devised a system of trails using soft leaves, smooth rocks, and gentle light pulses from small devices Kale had brought. They encouraged the kittens to follow the paths, rewarding them with warmth, soft sounds, and the occasional gentle touch. Leora's hands moved with precision, instinct guiding her as she mirrored the kitten's natural behaviors. Hours passed. Kale marveled at the kitten's intelligence. One, in particular, a small black and gold creature, seemed to recognize patterns faster than the others. It leapt from leaf to leaf, avoided the barriers, and paused as if considering the path before moving. Kale realized that these kittens, though tiny, were like no species he had ever encountered. As they worked, the jungle around them stirred. Leaves rustled in a way that made Kale's instincts sharpen. He had learned long ago that quiet signals often meant danger. A shadow moved between the trees, small, swift, and purposeful. Kale tensed. "Something's coming," he said quietly. Leora's ears twitched, alert. "It is not part of my group," she said. "Something else. Or someone." From the shadows emerged small creatures resembling humanoid predators, their eyes glinting with intelligence. They were not part of Leora's tribe. Kale's pulse quickened. They were rival scavengers known to take young from other species to use as tools or weapons. "We must protect them," Kale said firmly. "Help me move the kittens into the inner nest." With careful, swift motions, they guided the kittens toward the nest's center. The black and gold kitten, sensing tension, emitted a stronger hum, which caused Kale's instruments to flicker violently. The intruders froze, startled by the energy pulse. "This is their power," Leora whispered. "It protects them. But it is unpredictable. Kale nodded. Then we'll use it wisely. He quickly arranged the barriers, combining his human problem-solving skills with Leora's instinctual knowledge. Vines twisted into lattices, soft rocks formed gentle ramps, and the kittens were enclosed without harm. Their energy now contained safely within the nest. The intruders, unable to approach, slunk back into the jungle, frustrated and cautious. Leora exhaled, relief washing over her features. "They will not return while we are vigilant," she said. "But we must be careful." "More may come," Kale nodded. "Then we stay alert. Humans can handle this. We've survived worse." The rest of the day was spent reinforcing the nest and observing the kittens. Kale noticed that they seemed to respond to specific signals, soft taps on leaves, rhythmic hand movements, and gentle purring sounds from Leora. He realized that communication was key. Humans could guide them, but only by understanding their instincts. By late afternoon, the kittens had calmed somewhat, their tiny bodies curled together in the nest, humming faintly. Leora stroked their fur, her fingers moving in gentle, precise motions. "They trust you," she said softly, glancing at Kale. "You have a gift for understanding them." Kale shook his head. "It's not a gift. It's observation, patience, and respect. You humans, aliens respond to care. We all do. In our own ways." Leora smiled faintly. "Perhaps you are not like other humans. Perhaps you are a bridge between worlds." Kale allowed himself a small grin. "Maybe. Or maybe we just know how to survive." As night fell, the jungle's sounds returned to a gentle rhythm. Insects chirped, distant predators called, and the canopy swayed in a cool evening breeze. Kale and Leora sat by the nest, watching over the kittens. One kitten, the black and gold one, stirred and emitted a hum stronger than before. It was curious, testing the boundaries, exploring its power. Kale felt the vibration ripple through his body, fascinating, dangerous, and yet, he felt a surge of pride. Humans had once again proven that their courage, ingenuity, and patience could tame chaos without using violence. Leora glanced at him. "Do you think they will be safe?" Kale nodded, eyes still on the small creatures. "For now, but the jungle is not quiet. We must be ready for whatever comes next." The kittens yawned and settled back into the nest, their energy humming softly like a heartbeat. Kale knew that this was only the beginning. They would face more challenges, stray predators, rival factions, and the kittens' unpredictable instincts, but he also knew they could handle it. Humans could adapt, learn, and protect. "Tomorrow," Kale said, "we will teach them more. Guide them. Help them understand boundaries. And maybe they'll learn to trust us even more. Only die." 17:1. CFNH. "We will. Guide them," Leora nodded, her golden eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Together. Human. We will keep them safe. And maybe, one day, they will grow strong and wise. Like their parents." Kale smiled faintly. "Then we have work to do, and I have a feeling the jungle has many surprises left for us." As they settled near the nest, watching the kittens in their soft glow, Kale felt a deep sense of purpose. This was more than just survival. It was about trust, understanding, and the strength of cooperation between species. Humanity had once again risen to the challenge, not through force, but through patience, ingenuity, and heart. And somewhere deep in the jungle, unseen eyes watched the nest, curious and calculating, reminding Kale that tomorrow would bring new tests, new lessons, and new adventures. But he was ready. Humans always were. Morning came again to the Zyren 5 jungle, soft light spilling through the dense canopy and illuminating dew-covered leaves. Kale stretched, muscles aching from 2 days of vigilance, but his mind was alert. The kittens were supposed to be safe in the nest, yet one of them, the black and gold one, was missing. Kale's heart skipped a beat when he noticed the empty space. Leora, crouched beside the nest, stiffened. Her tail lashed nervously, and her ears rotated sharply. "It has gone," she said, her voice low but tense. "One of the kittens has left the nest." Kale's eyes narrowed. "How far could it have gone?" he asked. He knew this species could move fast, astonishingly fast. One kitten alone in the jungle could be in serious danger within minutes. Leora's gaze swept the surrounding foliage. "Far enough. Too far for me to catch with speed alone. We must track it before it gets lost completely." Kale nodded. "Then let's move. We'll track it carefully." They set out together. Kale following Leora as she led the way. Her instincts guided her. Ears twitching. Eyes scanning every shadow. Kale relied on his instruments to detect the kitten's energy pulses, the faint vibrations that indicated its location. The jungle was alive with sound, the calls of alien birds, rustling leaves, and distant growls, but Kale filtered them all, focusing on the unique hum of the kitten's energy. After some time, they found small signs of passage. Crushed leaves, faint scratches on tree trunks, and the occasional soft hum that indicated the kitten's presence. Kale crouched, studying each trace carefully. "It's clever," he murmured. "Not just fast, strategic." Leora nodded. "They inherit instincts from birth. This one is testing the world. Learning boundaries. But it is vulnerable." Kale glanced at her. "Then we guide it gently. We don't force it, just show it the right path." The kitten led them deeper into the jungle, past alien ferns that shimmered with bioluminescence, over streams filled with glowing water, and around sudden drops that Kale would have easily fallen into if not careful. The environment was challenging, but it was also breathtaking. Every leaf, every branch seemed alive, every sound a story. Suddenly, the faint hum grew stronger, almost urgent. The kitten was near. Kale and Leora slowed, observing silently. The black and gold creature appeared ahead, crouched on a large moss-covered rock. Its eyes glimmered, ears pointed, tail twitching with energy. Kale knelt behind a bush, noting how the kitten studied them. "It's wary," he whispered. "It knows we are here. We must approach carefully." Leora nodded, lowering herself to the ground, moving with silent precision. "We cannot scare it," she said. "We must show we are friends." She extended a hand slowly, producing soft sounds that mimicked the kitten's hum. Kale followed her lead, gently tapping a nearby leaf to create a rhythmic vibration. The kitten tilted its head, curiosity overcoming caution. It took a hesitant step forward, then another, and finally leapt toward Leora, allowing her to gently guide it back onto the safe path they had marked earlier. Kale breathed a sigh of relief. "One down," he said quietly, but the relief was short-lived. A sudden rustle came from the trees above. Kale's eyes darted upward. From the shadows, a group of humanoid figures emerged, moving swiftly and with purpose. They were not part of Leora's species. They were taller, lean, and their eyes gleamed with intelligence and intent. "They are here," Leora whispered, ears flattening. "They want the kittens." Kale's pulse quickened. He had read about such rival factions, groups that exploited alien offspring for power, for trade, or for experimentation. "Then we protect them," he said firmly. "We cannot let them take our kittens." The intruders advanced cautiously, observing the ground with devices that scanned for energy. The black and gold kitten sensed them, its hum intensifying, vibrating through the soil, disrupting the machines the intruders held. One of them stumbled, surprise and fear flashing across their face. Kale and Leora used the moment to move the kittens into a safer area. They guided them through a narrow corridor of vines and rocks, using obstacles to slow the intruders without harming anyone. The kittens' instincts helped too. They darted, leapt, and hid, following patterns Kale and Leora had created. Kale quickly devised a plan. "We need to separate them," he whispered. "One group draws the intruders away. The other keeps the kittens safe." "God?" Leora's eyes widened, then nodded. "We can do this. Trust your instincts, human. We will succeed together." Kale took a deep breath and moved silently toward the intruders, leaving subtle traces, twigs that would snap, vines that would trip, and soft vibrations in the ground designed to mislead them. The jungle itself seemed to become an ally, as if it recognized the urgency of their mission. Meanwhile, Leora guided the kittens to a hollow beneath a large tree. The kittens nestled together, energy pulses calming slightly as they sensed safety. Kale's diversion worked. The intruders followed the false signals, confused and slowed by obstacles. Minutes felt like hours as Kale led the intruders away, relying on human ingenuity, jungle knowledge, and quick thinking. Eventually, he returned to the hollow, careful not to make sudden movements. Leora's eyes glimmered with relief as the kittens remained safe. "You did well," she whispered. "Your mind. It works differently than mine. But together, we are strong." Kale smiled faintly. "Humans are good at solving problems," he said. "But it is your instincts and guidance that keep us alive too. This is a partnership." They rested briefly, catching their breath as the jungle's natural sounds returned. The kittens stirred, their energy pulses softening as they curled into the safety of the hollow. Kale watched them closely, fascinated by their instincts and intelligence. Leora spoke softly, almost to herself. "They will grow strong, faster than I imagined. And one day, they will explore this jungle on their own. But for now, they need protection, guidance, and understanding." Kale nodded. "And they have both. We will keep them safe and teach them carefully. No harm will come to them if we stay alert." As the sun climbed higher, the jungle revealed its beauty once more. Strange birds flew overhead, alien insects buzzed past, and the air was filled with the scent of exotic flowers and damp earth. The danger had passed, for now, but Kale knew that challenges would return. The rival faction would not give up easily, and the kittens' energy made them irresistible targets. Yet, in this moment, there was triumph. The human and the cat girl had worked together, blending intellect, instinct, and courage. They had outsmarted danger without violence, showing that understanding and patience were sometimes stronger than brute force. Leora crouched beside Kale, her golden eyes softening as she watched the kittens. "You have proven yourself," she said. "I did not expect a human to handle this so well. Perhaps, humans are not so different from my own kind after all." Kale laughed softly. "We are different," he said. "But that does not mean we cannot work together, and we have something in common: courage, care, and the will to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The black and gold kitten stirred, lifting its small head and letting out a soft, vibrating hum that echoed through the hollow. Kale could feel the energy ripple through his chest. Fascinating, alive, dangerous, yet full of promise. "Tomorrow," Kale said, "we will continue their training. We will guide them, protect them, and prepare for whatever challenges come next. And we will do it together." Leora nodded, her tail curling around the kittens. "Together," she agreed. "For them, and for the future." As they settled near the nest, the jungle alive with sound and motion, Kale felt a deep sense of purpose. Humanity had once again faced a challenge beyond their understanding, and had risen to it not with force, but with intelligence, patience, and heart. And somewhere deep in the jungle, hidden from sight, the rival faction regrouped. Their eyes glimmered with calculation and persistence, reminding Kale that the next day would bring new tests, more danger, and perhaps even greater opportunities for humans to shine. But he was ready. Humans always were. The night fell heavily over Zyran 5. The jungle thick with shadows and sounds of nocturnal creatures. Kale crouched beside Leora, listening intently. The kittens were safely nested beneath the massive tree hollow, their small hums vibrating faintly through the ground. For now, there was calm. But Kale knew it would not last. The rival faction was still out there, and the kittens' energy made them irresistible targets. Leora's tail flicked nervously. "They will come," she whispered. "Soon. And they will try to take the kittens." Kale nodded. checking the simple traps and barriers they had set during the day. "Then we'll be ready. Humans are good at planning, and your instincts will guide us. Together, we can protect them." Her ears twitched in agreement. "Yes. Together." Hours passed, and the jungle seemed to hold its breath. Then, a faint rustling from the shadows, the sound of calculated movement. The rival faction had arrived, their glowing eyes piercing through the dark, scanning for energy. Kale crouched lower, pulling Leora beside him. "They are close," he whispered. "We need to act quickly." Leora nodded, her golden eyes flashing. "We will divide our forces. You guide the human strategy. I will lead the kittens. We must not let the intruders reach them." Kale's mind raced. He quickly devised a plan. They would lure the rivals into a controlled path through the jungle, using the kittens' energy as a subtle shield and the natural terrain as obstacles. It was risky, but it was the only way to protect the young. As the intruders advanced, Kale signaled to Leora. She crouched low, calling the kittens with soft hums that matched their own vibrations. Slowly, the black and gold kitten emerged from the nest, followed by the others. They moved in patterns Kale had observed, weaving through the undergrowth, avoiding the traps but following the path he had designed. The rival faction hesitated, confused by the unusual energy patterns. Kale whispered instructions to Leora, who relayed them to the kittens through subtle gestures and sounds. The kittens responded instinctively, darting between obstacles, leaping over roots, and creating unpredictable but controlled movements that made it difficult for the intruders to follow. Kale felt the vibrations in the ground, the kittens' hum merging with the jungle itself. It was as if the environment had joined their defense. One intruder lunged toward a kitten, only to be slowed by a cleverly placed trap of vines and weighted rocks. Another tripped over a hidden root that Kale had left intentionally exposed. The jungle became a maze, and the humans and Catgirl used it expertly. Leora's voice was soft but commanding. "Steady, little ones. Follow the path. Trust us." The kittens responded perfectly. Their energy pulses intensified in controlled bursts, disrupting the intruders' devices. Lights flickered, and machines beeped in confusion. The humans advanced carefully, moving to block any direct path, while Kale guided them with gestures and whispered commands. Suddenly, one intruder tried to flank the group, aiming to reach the kittens from the side. Kale reacted instantly, creating a diversion by dropping a heavy branch that blocked the path. Leora's ears twitched, and she leapt forward, calling the kittens to move in a different direction. The black and gold kitten bounded ahead, leading the group through a series of twists and turns that kept the intruders off balance. The rival faction grew frustrated, their movements more desperate. Kale recognized the opportunity. "Now," he whispered. He and Leora coordinated a final maneuver. The kittens surged forward together, their energy pulses synchronizing in a rhythmic wave. It was strong enough to push the intruders back without harming them, just disorienting them long enough for the group to reach a safer part of the jungle. Kale's heart pounded with adrenaline. He watched as the intruders, confused and frustrated, retreated. Their devices flickered uselessly, unable to function near the kittens' combined energy. Leora's eyes gleamed with relief and pride. "They are safe," she said softly. Kale nodded, crouching beside the kittens. Each small creature looked alert but calm, their energy now vibrating steadily as if they understood they were protected. The black and gold kitten nudged his hand gently, a soft hum resonating through him. Fascinating, alive, and full of promise. Leora wrapped her tail around the group, gently stroking each kitten. "You see, human? Together, we can face any threat. Not with weapons, but with strategy, understanding, and trust." Kale smiled faintly. "It's true," he said. "Humans and your people different, but stronger together." The jungle settled into quiet again, the soft chirps and calls of nocturnal creatures resuming their rhythm. Kale and Leora took a moment to rest, breathing in the rich, earthy scent of the forest. The kittens nestled close, Energy hums, soothing but still alert. "You've taught them well," Kale said, watching the black and gold kitten curl up. "They are learning quickly. And they trust you." Leora's golden eyes softened. "Yes. But tomorrow will bring more lessons. They will grow faster than we expect, and the jungle will continue to test them." Kale nodded. "Then we'll continue guiding them. Together." For hours, they remained near the nest, observing the kittens and ensuring the area remained safe. Kale marveled at their abilities, their intelligence, and their instincts. Each kitten was unique, yet they functioned as a group when needed. Their tiny energy pulses blending into a protective rhythm. The first rays of dawn broke through the canopy, casting warm light over the jungle. Kyle and Leora stood together, watching as the kittens explored the clearing near their nest. Cautious but curious, the jungle was vast and full of dangers, but for the first time, Kale felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Humanity, through ingenuity and courage, had once again risen to a challenge that seemed impossible. Leora glanced at him, her tail curling around her legs. "I was afraid humans could not understand our ways. But you have shown wisdom, patience, and heart. Perhaps your species is ready to stand beside ours in this world." Kale smiled. "We are ready, Leora, and we will always rise to the challenge. Humans are resilient, and we care. That is what matters most." The kitten's energy pulsed softly, the vibrations blending with the jungle, a quiet song of life, trust, and safety. Kale could feel it in his chest. A reminder that courage, intelligence, and cooperation were the strongest forces in the universe. As the morning sun climbed higher, Kale and Leora began preparing for the next day. The kittens would need guidance, training, and protection as they grew stronger. The jungle would continue to test them, and rival factions might return. But Kale knew that together with humans and the cat girl working as one, they could face any challenge. He watched the kittens playfully chase each other around the nest, their hums creating gentle ripples of energy in the air. They were fierce, yes, but also alive and full of potential, and Kale felt a deep sense of pride. "Today, they survived," he said softly to Leora. "Tomorrow, they will grow stronger, and humanity will be there beside them." Leora nodded, her golden eyes reflecting the sunlight. "And I will be there too," she said. "We will protect them, teach them, and help them thrive. Together, human." Kale smiled faintly, glancing around the jungle. It was a world of challenges, of danger and wonder, of creatures both strange and magnificent. Yet for the first time, he felt at peace. The kittens were safe, the jungle was alive, and humanity had once again proven that courage, intelligence, and care could rise above chaos. The black and gold kitten leapt onto Kale's shoulder, soft purring vibrations resonating through him. He laughed quietly, feeling the warmth of life, hope, and connection. This was why humans explored, why they survived, and why they thrived. Not just for themselves, but for every life they touched along the way. And somewhere deep in the jungle, hidden from sight, the energy pulses of the kittens hummed like a heartbeat, a promise of future adventures, of challenges yet to come, and of humanity's place among the stars. Kale looked at Leora, and she looked back at him, and without words, they understood one thing. Together, humans and the cat girl could face anything: fierce kittens, rival factions, wild jungles. They were ready for it all. And in that moment, the jungle seemed to agree, alive with possibility, and filled with the quiet, powerful song of life, courage, and hope.